Well, hello again. Welcome back to the never-ending garage, where these projects never seem to end, never seem to get completed, and never seem to end. So we have acquired some more parts today, so the project moves forward. We have picked up our thermostat housing, which I don't know where I lost this at, but I either lost the one taking the Camaro apart, or I lost the original one as it came off of this car. Of course, I'm sure it'll probably turn up in about 6 months when I'm cleaning out my basement. I'll be like, oh yeah, there it is, I found it. So, we got our thermostat in. It's 160, I think. The stock thermostat's like a 180 or something, but these cars, in my opinion, always tend to run a little hot. So, we'll put a little lower thermostat in there. Now, when I put the last thermostat on here, I did not use a gasket. I think the O-ring that comes around that thermostat will accomplish all that you need. But then again, maybe you do have to have a gasket. So I'm just going to roll with it and add a little bit of sealer. Plugged in down here, and that sensor. Okay, and this are actually supposed to be, I can't remember where this one goes exactly. I'm thinking it goes into the intake. But so the whole point of buying this is this hose had a nice little kink, and I don't like kinks, so I needed a piece of hose to try to replace this with that didn't have a kink. But I have a feeling that it may not have a kink now, but it's going to have a kink pretty quick. I don't want to replace those. I'd like to just put a spring in here, keep it from collapsing. I don't really have a spring that big to be useful, so.
Yeah, this whole town's shutting down. Everyone's.
Alright, so we've shortened it up, so hopefully it won't be poking into anything it doesn't need to be poking into.
Gathered round, heading to the fairgrounds to see us a show. Got an AM country station blaring out a tune on the radio.
So where we're at is, this hose here. I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to try to show you. It kind of is straight off of the water pump, and then this tube hose, I'm just going to call it a tube, is practically like it dips down once it comes off the heater core line up over here, and it dips downward towards the ground and then curves and goes up. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Instead of the hose just making a loop and going over and connecting, it has to dip down right here. What a pain in my butt. So once again, we got a kink, and I don't think any amount of anything is going to change that kink. I don't think they make any hard plastic lines for this that I could use. So what really needs to be done is this needs to be kind of moved up. Well, if I could pull it, I think what's preventing it from going up is it's hitting that positive battery cable up there, as you can see right, where's my finger? Right there. This is the top of the hose, and it hits that positive battery cable here. And it's preventing the hose from going up any further. So we're going to need to move that battery cable. But once you move it up, the kink kind of disappears. So I think that's what we're going to do.
Shutting down, everyone's gathered round, heading to the fairground.
So today, I think last time I left you, we were looking at putting a cold air kit or some sort of intake system on this car, and I ordered one off eBay, but it turned out to be subpar in my opinion, especially for what it cost. I guess $75 isn't much when you're buying something like that, but to me I expected a little better quality. So we have something different. I have bought an aluminum intake elbow to replace the rubber intake boot on the factory setup. This was the only part that was really bad on the factory setup. So this was definitely a little bit more money than what I had going, but I think it'll work a little better and look a little better. And it also came with one of these goofy little airfoils, which I'm not really familiar with, but let me grab that real quick and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This little thing here is supposed to help smooth the intake charge or the air when it's coming in, instead of have these big cavities here, and air just kind of hits these and bounces around, and it's not a smooth shot into the throttle bodies on the little individual throttle bodies on the throttle body, or the butterflies, or however you want to look at it. Now when you put this little airfoil on here, kind of, if I can get you, smooths things out a little bit. Instead of hitting those holes, it kind of smoothly goes into the throttle bodies. Now, I'm not under any illusion that this is going to give you any sort of magical horsepower, but I will tell you it came with the kit, so I'm going to use it, considering I got it and I paid for it, so why not? We got a couple other little things too that'll help this project get moved along today. And this little plug plate, whatever you want to call it, kind of sets in the back, and this bolt screws through this little airfoil and catches this, and it kind of pulls the two together. But you can't get to that until you take the little cover off here. So I guess what we're going to do now is see if I have the correct fitting to get that cover off. No, my luck, I probably don't. Let's see. I think it's this one right here. It's a T25. Oh, well, it's smaller than that. I got a T20. Yeah, that's a T20. Yeah, that's a T20. So, put that over to the side. see if we can get
To see us a show. Got an AM country station blaring out a tune on the radio.
Alright. Oh. Well, good times there. Inside this extremely nasty stock throttle body, it don't look good at all. So I'm not for sure exactly how this is gonna go down in here.
Fireworks stand on the 4th of July. Bottle rockets popping, lighting up the sky. Got old glory flying way up high. America, that's America. Every cornfield all around. Salute all those who served, who paid that price once who gave their life. It's a fireworks stand on the 4th of July. Bottle rockets popping, lighting up the sky. Got
Factory boot that was letting in a whole lot of air on the bottom. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is our factory intake tubing that is in pretty rough shape. What I'm going to do is disconnect this side of the mass air meter. You can pull this little sensor out here too. But I plan on attaching up there to the mass air meter and then keeping the rest of the factory air boxed.
under the stars.
You have three little veins with wires or whatever you want to call them. Basically, they sense incoming air and they vibrate accordingly to how much air is going through, basically, and they tell the computer how much air is coming in so the computer can work accordingly. So
Down small town USA. Down
we converted the factory air box to a hard aluminum elbow, which on the factory intake assembly, those elbows seem to be the weakest point, and mine was broken and looked like crap, so we went ahead and replaced it. Nice little upgrade in my opinion, but we do retain the factory mass air and the air box assembly, so that way we'll probably just throw a cane and air filter in it. Not that I think that that's ever going to make any extra horsepower, but I think it'll help us out with longevity and not have to replace a bunch of paper filters. So anyway, today, spring inside that one hose off of our water pump that kinks real bad. I think this will prevent that hose from kinking. It's supposed to fit right into a 3/4 inch hose. We shall see. So this is gonna go, which the piece that I'm using up here now is pretty much this length, but this won't compress any more than it already is, so you gotta think we're probably an inch into this hose. Right there is where we're at off the water pump, and then this thing is probably right here. So we're gonna need, I'd say, a piece of hose this long plus about 3 inches.
Yeah, this whole town's shutting down. Everyone's gathered round, heading to the fairgrounds to see us a show. Got an AM country station blaring out a tune on the radio.
it's not, the hose isn't collapsing now. So the only thing that I'm a little curious about is, I have to get up in there and make sure that stays out of the way, is the ends of it. I kind of use those 13-inch pliers to kind of twist the end up to where it wouldn't dig into the hose. And I think it'd be good. I got it in here now. And antifreeze everywhere. I didn't think there'd be antifreeze that far up, but apparently there was after I filled it up. But the hose doesn't have a nasty kink in it anymore. Seems like it's good. I need to zip tie it over here so it'll stay away from the hose will stay away from the belt, which I think we're good on that side of it. Kind of zip tied up there too, out of the way. And zip tie here. All right, I think in that aspect it's good. I really just need to fill it back up full of coolant and start working on those sleeves for the AC line, or for the around the header. So, yep. I'm covered in antifreeze too. There's a puddle down here. I backed up. Look, camera's covered too. I backed up because I thought it might have some in it.